Hello and welcome to Recap the podcast with me, Lucy Wheeler. Recap stands for Research in Education, Child Development and Parenting. And our mission is to embrace everyone and make everyone feel at home and part of a supportive community. Here on the podcast, you will find stories from parents, child development professionals, researchers, early childhood educators, and many, many more. So pop on those headphones while you walk the dog, grab a snippet during your lunch break or while your baby sleeps, and enjoy listening to some incredible stories from some truly amazing people. Welcome to Recap. Hello and a huge warm welcome to my guest today, Emma Tanfield, who I'm very excited to chat to about her journey into motherhood. So before we head into that, I just want to tell you a little more about our guest. Emma Tanfield is a mum of two beautiful daughters and a wife to husband Tom. Having worked previously in childcare and completing her degree in early childhood professional studies, which is actually where we first met, Emma now balances her time with her daughters with raising awareness for parents experiencing life with children with additional needs. As a busy mum of two and with a daughter with charge syndrome, she still manages to find time to raise money for charity with some fantastic events. I'm so excited to be speaking with her today, so it is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the episode Emma Tanfield. How are you doing today, Emma?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on here.
Not at all. It's an absolute pleasure. I follow you on Instagram. Obviously, we know each other previously. We went to university together.
Yes,
So we know each other previously, but you didn't have children when we were at university. So I've really enjoyed following your journey online since we've parted ways and gone and done our different things.
Oh,
I just
thank
want to take you. No worries. I just want to take you back to the very first time that you became a mum. How was that experience for you? Like, did you always know that you wanted to have a family, have children?
Yeah, do you know what? It was actually Tom that was more excited to start a family.
Oh, really?
I was the one that was like, oh no, I want to do a bit more traveling. I wasn't quite sure
Right.
where I was going career wise. Whereas when he left school, he knew exactly what he wanted to be. He was on that road and he went straight into barbering and he's done it ever since. And you know, he's made a great career out of it. So he was set and ready quite young in my eyes. And I wasn't there. So we actually from from the age of like 19, I guess it's just really like immature and naivety, but we wasn't being careful at all. So actually it's a really good job nothing happened. I mean, you know, there's plenty of parents out there that are really young and I think they're amazing parents, but I just know I would not have coped at that age. And it wasn't until we was about 23 and we was quite serious in our relationship and I just finished uni and I thought, oh, do you know what? Maybe I am ready for a baby. And Tom went to the doctors for something completely different and found out that he had a low sperm count. So we got told we wouldn't be able to have children like naturally. And we had all these conversations around it and I thought, oh, do you know what? Let's not stress. We're still very, very young.
Yeah.
So my mum said, because we was renting at the time, and my mum said, come live with us, save what you was paying for your rent and put it aside to put towards a mortgage and then you can worry about all that after. So we moved in with my mum and dad and literally 2 months later found out I was pregnant with Amelia. And it's so true. Like everyone said, oh, when you stop trying, you know, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So Tom was buzzing and I always wanted kids. I always wanted to be a mum, but I definitely wasn't ready when I found out I was pregnant. So I didn't take my pregnancy seriously, which is something I massively regret. And I almost didn't enjoy it. I sort of denied it for a long time.
Okay.
And I think my way of dealing with things when I'm nervous is sort of putting it to the back and focusing on something different. Anyway, Mills was absolutely fine. She came and because we was living with my mum and dad, we had hands-on help 24/7.
Yeah.
So literally it was so lucky. We're very close to both our parents. We were so lucky.
Perfect.
2 months later, so she was born on the 23rd of January, 23rd of March went into lockdown. So my first time parenting experience, it was amazing in certain aspects because Tom's a barber, he couldn't work. So he got to experience everything. He got to see all of her first milestones. You know, he got to see everything. He was there every single day with her. But I guess it was a bit of an unrealistic way of parenting because because my mum worked from home during COVID. So I could say like, oh, I'm just going to jump in the shower. Will you watch the baby for me? So like it was a huge shock when we moved out and then Tom goes to work and I'm at home with Amelia. I'm thinking, oh my God, like I don't know, I've got to keep an eye on this child on my own. So it was so nice having my mum and dad there, but you can't really be a family because at the end of the day, it's their house. Babies take up a lot of space. So you're petrified you're taking over all their space and their house. And so, I mean, yeah, it was amazing being a first time mum and having the experience. We were super lucky to have the help we had, but it was nothing like I thought it'd be because obviously during lockdown, and I know I'm not the only one, there's loads of parents that struggled during lockdown, but we couldn't do any baby classes. I couldn't take her swimming. All the things I thought I would do on my maternity leave obviously didn't happen. And then I had to go back to work early because none of us had any money. So I didn't really enjoy my maternity. Well, no, it's a lie. I did enjoy it, of course. It was lovely being off, but you know what it's like during COVID. It gets a bit, it's nothing to what I thought it would be.
Yeah. And I think as well, with her being your first, you don't have that comparison of, oh, this is just different because, you know, the circumstances and that. I suppose in your mind, there's almost that thinking of, oh, is this what it's like?
Yeah. And I think I've always been a very confident person and becoming a mum made me realise this is what I needed. Like she saved me. I didn't know I needed saving and she 100% did. Like she will always be my best friend. We're very, very close, me and Mills, and having that time with her, I think made us closer.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise how much it knocked my confidence when we come out of lockdown because all of a sudden I was out and I had this baby with me that I had to, you know, I was used to being indoors in my own safe environment and going out. I had these huge anxieties all of a sudden that someone was going to take her.
Oh, really?
Which is so ridiculous, but it was horrible. I couldn't go anywhere on my own. And, you know, it brought out all these anxieties I didn't know I had. So that's when I started getting really into mental health and stuff. And, you know, I found that a lot of other people were the same. And I just wanted to share that they weren't on their own because it was a huge thing. Even though it was the best time having her, that's when it released a lot of anxieties and my confidence definitely dropped.
I think a lot of people, I've spoken to a few people about that change in identity when you become a parent and that you don't expect to kind of change as a person, but it almost does it without you even having any control over it, do you?
Yeah, no, you're right.
I love what you say about kind of how close the two of you are and that she's your best friend and that she almost saved you when you didn't realise that you needed saving. And like my daughter's 17 now. I had her when I was 20, so I was a fairly young mum. But she has totally changed me as a person. And even though I was quite young when I had her, but it just does something to you, doesn't it? When you become a parent, like it just releases something inside you. And I'm like, right, I've got to step up now. Like, this is my job. And
I think that shows though that I mean, I think I was, which is really bad, but I think I was before I had Amelia. I was very much like, you know, you see these 17, 18, 19-year-olds and you're like, how on earth? You're a baby yourself. You're having a baby.
Yeah.
But it's not until you have one and you do have those natural instincts that kick in and you think, actually, as long as you're keeping them safe, warm, fed, loved, you're onto a winner. Like it doesn't matter what your age is. You have this bond, like, and it is so strong. And I just think like some people are meant to be mums, and well, I like to think I'm one of them. Like I realise it was what I was put on this earth to do, is to be a mum because I love it, and that doesn't mean I get it right every time.
I mean, who
I
does?
absolutely do not. Oh, there are days when you just think, no, do you know what? I don't want to parent today.
Start again.
We'll just start again.
Back to bed, under the covers, pretend today is not happening. Yeah, I get it.
But no, 95% of the time, I really do enjoy being a mum. I am enjoying it. But then, you know, they're still very young. They're still very fun at the moment. They've not found their bat chat yet.
No, it will come.
She was 4 last week. Yeah, I know.
It's that is such a lovely age. I mean, obviously, it comes with its challenges. Every age. I mean, when we know this, we did this at university. That's what we studied, child development and everything. But we know that every age comes with its own challenges. But that age of like 4 or 5, when they're just getting ready to go off to school and things like that, like it's such a magical age. They're talking, so you can have a conversation with them, like you're saying. You know, just have a chat with your little best friend and go and have girly days out and things like that.
And they're so innocent. Like she comes out with stuff and I think, oh my, like when did we lose that innocence? Because she says things and it's so true. And so, you know, they see it in a whole sometimes better perspective than what adults do. I don't know when we lose that. Like she doesn't see any differences between any children at all. And I remember her going to nursery with this little girl who had Down syndrome. And I mean, she was gorgeous. And I said to Mills, like, oh, how is she? Like, I won't obviously mention her name. And I said, how is she doing? And she said, oh, yeah, she's got a different smile to me. Hers is bigger. And I was like, that is
Ah,
the only difference that she
yeah,
saw in them. And I just thought that is so beautiful that she's just
yeah.
so pure. And I just thought, like, and all kids are.
Mhm.
It's not just Amelia, you know, they're just, I love it. I love this age and they're so much fun.
Oh, bless.
Although she is at the question age. You know, when you start answering their questions, you think, why am I still going?
Did we not answer this 20
It's
minutes ago?
just
You just asked me in a different way.
exactly. That's exactly it. So yeah, I got to master that yet.
Oh, bless her. So she's 4. Has she started school yet?
No, well, she's in a school nursery now, which is a little bit different to the nursery she was in.
Okay.
It's like it's a lot more structured, and I've got to learn that the times actually matter. She has to be in on time and picked up on time. But no, she's loving nursery, absolutely loving it, and she's really grown up all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Mm.
they do, don't they? When they go and kind of out into the big wide world and start going to other places, it just brings out that inner confidence, doesn't it, in a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, for
children?
sure.
Oh, I'm so glad she's enjoying it. She's got lots of adventures ahead of her, and she'll start school this September.
Yes. Yeah, we find out in April, primary
Oh,
school. So that was a whole nerve-wracking experience as well. I don't want to make the wrong
it's stressful,
choice.
isn't it?
Oh, it is so stressful.
So that was your experience of your first pregnancy, first dip into motherhood, doing it
Yeah.
through COVID. So, I mean, hats off to you. That's a challenge in itself. And then you fell pregnant again and you had a second journey into motherhood, but that was a bit different to your first journey for a multitude of different reasons. So, can you tell us a bit about
Yeah.
that journey into motherhood?
Yeah, cool. So then we had Avie, our AVT. The whole pregnancy was different. I was so lucky with Amelia. And again, I think it was a bit unrealistic because I was extremely lucky. I didn't struggle. The only time I struggled was at the end. I got preeclampsia with Amelia. So
Oh,
I was then on the high risk end for my
okay.
second pregnancy.
Okay.
But from the moment I knew I was pregnant for even taking a test because I was severely sick.
Oh,
Like, and I had no sickness with Mills at all. I was really lucky. But with Avie, I was really, really poorly with Avie. So the whole pregnancy was different anyway.
yeah.
I also got pneumonia while I was pregnant with Avie.
No.
So
Oh,
yeah, I
God.
was in hospital for a long time, and yeah, there was just loads going on. But we got told the whole way through, Avie's a nice, healthy baby. She
Okay.
was obviously checked quite a lot. Nothing was pulled up with her, and then she was born. I went into labour almost 8 weeks early.
Wow.
I was actually at work sweeping the floor and I had these pains, and I went in and I genuinely thought I'll only be in for an hour because I never had Braxton Hicks or anything like that either with Mills, and I thought, oh, maybe it's something like that.
Okay.
And went in, and within 15 minutes of being hooked up, they was like, right, okay, we need to take you around to labour ward. I was like, oh my God, no, this is not the
Oh.
plan. No, I haven't got anything
It's
ready.
not time. Oh my
I
word.
just carted Mills off to my mum's, and I was like, I'll be back in a minute. And yeah, it was just so stressful. It was carnage. I had to try and keep her in for as long as I could because we had to have a drip to protect her brain and her lungs.
Okay.
So I was contracting. I think it was something silly like 57 hours or something.
Oh,
Like
word.
full on in labour, in active labour. So it was a long, long time. Tom was
I
incredible.
bet you were exhausted.
Oh, so tight. And then I literally was about to sign the form for a section to go down and get her out because it was just too much strain on the body. And she just came. She just started coming out, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like, she's coming because I really wanted a natural birth. That was the plan.
Right, okay.
And
Did you have natural first time?
no, Amelia was a section.
Oh, okay.
So I really wanted it this
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
Although, oh my God, hats off to people that have natural birth because I thought I'd done amazing. They pulled her out and she was tiny. I was like, is that it? That's all I've pushed out. She's so small. But then I don't really remember a lot because I ended up losing loads and loads of blood. So I
Alright.
was sort of like Tom said, he was in this complete, utter, like, out of body experience because there was a NICU team waiting for Avie anyway. So there was about 4 or 5 nurses waiting. And then the crash button was pushed as soon as she was born. And with that, when that button's pushed, there's like 15, 16 doctors in the room within seconds.
Wow.
So Tom was pushed right to the back of the room. I was being worked on over that side. Avie was being worked on over that side. And he said he felt like a little bit helpless, but she just wasn't crying. That's all I remember is saying she's not making any sound at all.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we didn't know that she couldn't. So Avi was born without the holes in her nose,
Okay.
which I'll explain in a minute. It's one of the charge things.
Okay.
But I didn't know that babies are nose breathers. They can't breathe through their mouth when they're born. They can only breathe through their nose.
I didn't know this.
No, I didn't. So
Oh.
they're trying to put oxygen in, and obviously it's
Mm.
blocked. Nothing's going in. It's not working.
Right.
So at 3 minutes, the crash button was pushed again, at which point they took her out of the room. So she's no longer in the room anymore. And then on like her admission summary for the hospital, it explains it all. And her little body went through so much. And they ended up intubating her at 12 minutes. So for 12 whole minutes, she was obviously getting something. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But she ended up having a bleed on the brain because of it.
Right.
And it was just a whole thing. Anyway, they intubated her. She was on a ventilator, and I was knackered.
I can
like,
imagine.
so tired. I come round and I just remember I just wanted a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like that's all I wanted. So I'm sitting there, all your dignity goes out the window, don't it? I'm getting stitched up. I've got a cup of tea in one hand, gas in in the other. Looked ridiculous, and I just thought, oh, do you know what? I just chill out just for half an hour, and then we'll go up and see her. And as they were stitching me, they come down. A doctor knocked on the door, and he said to me, "Right, your baby's going to London now. Like, do you want to see her
Oh,
before
my
she
word.
goes?" And I was like, what do you mean she's going to London? Like, what? Because we still
Yeah.
are none the wiser of what's gone on,
Right.
because she was taken out. And he said she needs to be transferred to London, like, immediately. She's extremely poorly, but obviously, you know, in a much more professional way than what I'm saying it. These weren't his exact words, but she's very poorly. She needs to be taken, like, now.
Wow.
So I was like, right, let's go. So I was wheeled round to NICU, was allowed to see her before she was put in the ambulance, and she was the size of Tom's hand. She was so small. And she had all these tubes. She had a cannula in every limb. Honestly, they're so incredible. The wires that they put in these babies, like, they're just insane.
They must be tiny.
She was so small, and well, she was 4 pound one, so she was a very good weight. That's the thing that she did have on her side, but her size was very, very small. And yeah, she just looked nothing like a baby. Nothing like a baby at all. And I just, it's so strange, because I remember seeing Mills. This is going to sound really bad. I remember seeing Mills, and you have this instant like, oh my God, they're not. They're covered in gunk and awful mess. But you're like, she's beautiful. She's everything. And I saw Avie, and I didn't really see her because she had so many wires, so many tubes, all this different stuff going on that's brand new world to us. We don't know about anything like this. And I didn't really believe it. It was a bit of a strange experience. Anyway, she was taken straight off to London, and me and Tom were just left in this room with no baby. And
so you weren't allowed to go with her?
We weren't allowed to go with her. They didn't think she was going to survive. So Tom had the decision to go with her, but I still needed finishing off stitching, and I still needed lots of stuff doing to me. And I said to him, you go with her. But I think one of the nurses basically said, like, stay with Em, because, you know, she needs you a lot now. Avie is what it is at the moment. There's not really much we can do with Avie.
I suppose as well, like, Avie's going to be kind of brushed straight in, worked on. She's obviously super young, so has no awareness of people, who they are, you know, anything like that. Whereas he could be that support for you. You're there and needing that support. So I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah, and she was taken straight onto high dependency, so he wasn't even allowed on there anyway. So he'd have had to have waited until she went onto the NICU ward. So it didn't really make sense. So yeah, he ended up staying with me, and we didn't hear anything for hours.
That's agony.
Hours and hours about whether she got there, whether it was just, and the nurses were incredible. Even the nurse, like the ambulance service that took her, were called Panda, and they were amazing. Like, she's still got a little panda teddy that they gave her in her incubator, and you know, they were so lovely. But obviously they can't just message me like out of the blue. Like, you have to wait for news. So we're sitting there waiting. None of my family know. All of our family know I'm in labour. None of them know she's even been born. They don't even know if it's a boy or girl, because we didn't find out. You know, everyone's waiting to hear from us. And Tom said, I have to let them know that she's here. And I was like, I don't want to. I'm not telling anyone anything until we hear she's in London, she's okay, and then I will tell them the news or not. Do you know what I mean? And tell
Mm.
them either way what the news is. We got the news that she was there. We met my mum and dad, Tom's mum and dad, and my brother in Costa in the hospital. We saw Amelia, and it was the first time I'd seen Amelia in 3 days, and
Oh,
that's all I wanted,
yeah.
in all honesty, was just to see Mills. We got her in a pink top, and
Oh,
she announced that it was a girl, and it was all lovely. It just felt, again, nothing what I thought it would feel like having a second child. Like, it was just hard, you know. We didn't
yeah.
have our baby with us. We didn't know if she was okay. We didn't know what was going on. It was all completely, yeah, it was not nice. And then that night I discharged myself from hospital because I just wouldn't have been good in hospital. And luckily the nurse was like, no, I completely agree. Like, you need to go home.
Okay.
Obviously, I made sure everything was okay.
Mm.
Like, I wouldn't just leave. But, everything was fine. I think they just wanted to monitor. So I agreed with them. A nurse could come round first thing in the morning to check, and I was allowed to go home. Went home, fell asleep, woke up the next morning, and I forget that I'd given birth
Yeah.
because there was no baby there. And I forgot I'd just given birth. So within, I don't know, 14, 15 hours of giving birth, I was on my way up to London.
Oh, God.
And, I'm so sore.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But it's pure adrenaline. And my mum drove us up. I've never been to Whitechapel. I've never been to Royal London. It's this huge blue building, and they explained where to go. And we got in there, and it is just a whole nother world. Like, the machines, the beeps, these babies that I thought Avie was small. Oh my God, these
Really?
tiny, tiny babies that like aren't even a pound. Like, they're just so dinky, and there's like 7 babies on a bay, and you get to speak into these parents, and some of them have been there for like 2 weeks, some of them have
Wow.
been there for 6 weeks, and it's amazing.
Surreal.
Yeah, really surreal. Anyway, she got onto the NICU ward, and then we was very, very lucky that the genetics doctor that worked at the hospital specialised in charge syndrome,
Right.
because a lot of children don't get diagnosed with charge as early as Avie did.
Okay.
And she noticed, so one of the main things with Avie is obviously her nose, her atresia, and another thing is she's got really low set ears,
Right.
which is another feature. So charge is basically, it's a very rare genetic syndrome.
Okay.
It's very, very complex. There's loads and loads to it, and it's like a spectrum as well. So
All right.
it's very much like, they could be very, very mild to very, very severe. Like, they're all different. And children with charge suffer from extreme medical and physical difficulties.
Right.
So the genetic mutation is called the gene CHD7, and 1 in 10 to 15,000 babies are born with it.
Oh, my word.
Me and Tom both had the genetics testing done, and neither of us carry the gene. So it started for the first time completely random in Avie.
Wow.
And because of this, it means that there was a less than 1% chance we'd have a baby with this syndrome.
Oh, my goodness.
So she was like rare, rare. She was the only person,
Yeah.
only the amount of nurses, they're like, we've never come across a child with charge syndrome. Like, nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's super rare. And for a long, long time, I struggled, and I thought, why us? Why has this happened to us? Because 7.5 months in hospital is a huge strain, emotionally, physically, financially.
Yeah.
The amount
Yeah.
it cost us in train fare is a joke. And it was really hard to be positive, and I'm a very positive person. And then I remember sitting in the parent room, and I just thought, actually, why don't we twist this? Because we're surrounded by very poorly babies, and we're surrounded by babies that don't make it, and it's a very surreal environment to be in. And actually, there's a lot of positives with Avie. She got sepsis at 4 days old, and she survived. And we got a phone call to say to go up because they didn't think she'd make it, and she did. She made it through the night. She's had 3 collapsed lungs. Like,
Oh, wow.
she has gone through so much. Oh, so much. She is such a warrior.
Yeah.
So I just thought, actually, why not us? Because we can support her, and we will love her, and our family will love her. So actually,
Yeah.
why not? Maybe she's come to us because we will give her the best life that we can. And, it's then looking at it, this whole life-changing experience. And we're lucky, not lucky. So it helped me, I think,
Yeah.
the fact that it was so
Yeah, I
random
can
and
imagine.
sporadic, because there's nothing I could have done to change it. Because you start going through your pregnancy, and you're like, oh, if I didn't,
Yeah.
I don't know, have that tiny sip of Prosecco on Christmas Day, would she have been all right? Like, you start going through this stuff that is ridiculous, but you start trying to find blame. And actually there isn't any. It was completely random.
Yeah, I think that's a totally natural thing to do as a parent, isn't it? You know, when something like that happens, you instantly go, right, what did I do wrong?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
is it my fault?
Yeah.
And so to have that, almost that reassurance for both of you as parents, to kind of go, actually, you know, we didn't do anything.
Yeah, that
I guess
helped.
that,
That will not. It made it easier because it made us realize that actually we have to think differently here. We can't keep like beating ourselves up. I did everything I was meant to do during my pregnancy, and just is what it is at the end of the day.
yeah,
So every letter in charge stands for something different.
okay,
So the C in charge is coloboma. That's to do with the eyes. So we got told that Avi was deaf and blind, and
right,
it's basically the eyes don't fuse together. They don't like join together, so it causes vision impairment.
okay,
So she's with a charity called Sense, and it's for like visual and hearing impairments. So she has coloboma in her right eye. She has optic disc. There's loads of different types of coloboma with the iris. There's loads. She's got optic disc coloboma.
okay.
The H is for heart defects. So Avi had 3 holes in her heart and she has a thickened aortic valve. One of the holes has actually closed up by itself. I think that's quite normal to have
Okay.
that if you have a prem baby.
Right, okay.
Another one, there's a leak inside her heart, so they're not so worried. And then the third hole, they might just have to stitch it up, but that's nothing crazy. And the valve, they're just going to stent it. So it's quite,
Okay.
considering what it could be, it's not as bad as other heart defects. The A is the atrasia. She has both, no, so bilateral. She has both. When she was born, the holes at the back of your nose, hers was covered by bone.
Right.
So it can be covered by bone or like skin.
And that's why she couldn't breathe when she was born.
That's why she couldn't
Right.
breathe. So we had to wait. So she was on a ventilator and we had to wait until she was big enough because they had to get tools, cameras, and a drill up her tiny little nose to make these holes.
Oh my word.
She had a ventilator for the first 7 weeks. She wasn't big enough. And then they stent it. She had these 2 little stents up her nose. She was just so tiny. I was like, how do you make this stuff? But the problem is where they've made the holes. It's like when you get your ears pierced, if you leave the earrings out, your body closes the hole.
Yeah.
Because she was born without these holes, her body thinks that they're supposed to be closed.
Right.
So every time she has this operation, her body closes the holes.
Oh wow.
So she has to have this operation every 8 weeks. So we go up to Whitechapel every 8 weeks, and she has.
How long will that have to go on for?
So after 2.5 years, they say the brain is then trained to hopefully keep it open, and the plan is to spread it out.
Right.
So we're 8 weekly at the moment, but her breathing sounds a lot better this time, which might mean we can go to 3 monthly.
Okay.
And then hopefully, 6 monthly and then yearly. So plan is that over time,
A bit longer in between.
it closes
Yeah.
a bit slower and slower. Yeah. And eventually, they reckon like 5, 6,
Gosh.
5, 6 years old, hopefully it will understand though they're supposed to be there.
Right. That's crazy. So not only has she got all of these things that she's contending with day to day, she has to go in for repeated
Yeah.
operations as well and go through the trauma and then the recovery
Absolutely,
again
yeah.
after each one.
On the Charge website, like a Charge Foundation website, it says it's typical for a child with Charge to be followed by an average of 17 different medical specialists and will have more than a dozen surgical procedures before he or she is 10 years old. And Avi's on her 11th general anaesthetic operation already, and she has her 12th one on the
Gosh.
9th of Feb. So the 9th of Feb is her next nose operation. So she's like
Right.
a trooper. She's pro at this now.
He's a real trooper.
We sign the consent forms every time, and they're like, "Oh, is there anything like any questions you have?" I'm like, "No, no, I know what to expect."
This is not our first time.
It's my first rodeo. But yeah, where she was ventilated for so long, and it's things that you don't even think about. So where she was ventilated for so long, it's affected her voice box because it pushes on your voice box.
Oh,
So she
of
was
course.
completely mute for 7 weeks. She couldn't say anything. She didn't cry anything because it pushed on her voice box. And because it was so long, she sounds like a little lamb, like a little evil villain laugh when she cries because it strains on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the A. The R is restricted growth. So Avi is extremely small for her age. It's very common for people with Charge to have growth hormone injections.
Okay.
So that's in discussion at the moment because she's tiny. I mean, she's chubby. She's got the weight. It's like the height and the growth that she's not doing very well on, but that is that's part and parcel of the syndrome.
Yeah.
G is to do with the genitals, so a lot of children struggle and have problems with their genital area.
Mhm.
And the E is ear abnormalities, so she's got low set ears. They're like Nemo's little fin. They're like
Oh,
her special ears. They're really cute, but because of that, she has issues. So she's completely deaf in her left ear.
right.
She has partial hearing in her right. So with like cochlear implants, they should be able to bring some hearing back.
Oh, wow.
So they're diagnosed with charge if they have 2 or more of these like bits.
Right, that's what I was going to ask.
Avie has 5 out of the 6. So she has everything except the G, the genital bit. And then obviously alongside charge comes swallowing and breathing
Yeah.
problems. So Avie is peg fed, so she can't swallow.
Right.
So she obviously has it straight into her tummy, and she has chronic respiratory issues, always in and out of hospital at the moment because her breathing, she just breathes super fast. She's on oxygen a lot. She has CPAP machine. Balancing problems is an issue. Delay with development and communication, and cranial nerve problems. They're like the main things that come hand in hand with charge. So Avie has facial palsy, where she had a bleed to the brain.
Okay.
Her face, one side of her face doesn't work. So yeah, she has challenges like every single day, but she's such a happy, content, beautiful little girl. Like, she's smashing everything. They've told us everything they told us. She's just proved everyone wrong.
Has she?
We got told she wouldn't hit any milestones before her first birthday, and she's rolling, she's grabbing a rattle, she can hold her head up now. Like, she's amazing. She's making sounds, and that gives it, because it can get quite, you can be very negative and you can think the
Yeah.
worst quite often,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you've had one that has no issues. So yeah, that gives us hope. Yeah, she's amazing.
What an incredible start to life that she's
Oh,
had, and she's just
yeah.
battled through everything. How old was she when she was able to come home? She's home now with you, isn't she?
She's home now, so she was 7.5 months and she was able to come. So she was in hospital for 224 days.
Oh gosh. So, and you were having to make that journey every day.
Every day. Yeah. Well, we wasn't allowed to hold her for 5 weeks, so I wasn't even allowed to hold her. We was allowed to put our hand in the incubator, but then when she had an infection, we wasn't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So we just had to like touch the plastic lid.
Mm.
Amelia wasn't. That was the hardest part. Amelia didn't really understand what was going on because she wasn't allowed in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So she wasn't allowed to meet her until she was 4 months old.
Oh,
So
bless her.
we were showing her all these pictures, and she was just like not interested at all, because it just, one, it didn't look like a baby. Two, I don't think she could
Yeah.
quite understood, like, hold on, she was in your tummy a minute ago and now she's on your phone. Like, what's going on? She didn't quite get it. And all our time, me and Tom hardly saw each other because we was sharing being up the hospital, and the other one was having meals. Meals was passed from person to person when we both had to go up for meetings and training, and it was really tough. The guilt was so hard with meals, and we weren't allowed to stay on NICU, so we had to leave every night. So I wasn't allowed to stay with her until she was moved to the respiratory ward downstairs when she was 5 months old. So I had my first night with her when she was 5 months old.
That's a long time.
Long time. But there was parents on the ward, and you almost saw them like feel guilty for talking about their experience, because they'd been in there for like 2 weeks, and you could see their face, and they were like, oh my God, I can't even imagine, like, being the worst 2 weeks of my life. It's so long. And I'm sitting there chatting, and they're like, how long have you been here? I was like, 6 months.
Yeah.
And their face just drops. I'm like,
you get it. Yeah.
Your journey's your journey. Do you know what I mean? Like, 2 weeks is just as scary as 6 months. Like, it doesn't matter how long it's been. It's still not a nice place to be in for a day, let alone 2 weeks.
Yeah. And I guess when they say that to you, you can kind of remember back to that 2 week point and remember how scary it was. And I suppose, not saying that it's any easier at 6 months, but I suppose at 6 months, you're aware of a lot more that's going on. You've been given some information. You've got almost some sort of routine going on, that even though it's a very skewed routine, but
yeah. And you even, like, it's things like terminology. Doctors talk to you and you understand words you didn't understand before. And, you just have a bit more of an understanding and respect for the doctors, I guess, because they work so hard. But then it's interesting because my journey with Avie has been completely different to Amelia. But in the same respect, I mean, I'd have like 10, 11 kids if I could. I'm one of those that just loves having babies. And if we were ever lucky enough to have another one, I think we'd struggle the most
Yeah.
because we had so much help with Amelia. And actually, we left Avie there every night. So
Yeah.
somebody else was doing all the night shifts for me. I mean, don't be wrong, you get home, you don't really switch off, you're wondering if she's okay and everything like that. But actually, we got sleep, and sleep's such an important part of parenting that we was lucky that, we almost had like a nurse every night looking after our baby. So we still had that hands-on help for 7 months before we had to deal with her on our own in our home. So it's a completely different, and obviously I'd much rather have her been at home, but we still had so much help with her as a newborn. I've never ever had a newborn on my own to
Yeah.
look after, with no support. It was very, very tough, but
I love how you still managed to put such a positive spin on a really challenging situation. Like, yeah, but I got help. I got sleep. Like, I love the positivity. I imagine it's not always been positivity from your perspective, and like you've said, it's a really tough and challenging thing to go through. But I mean, amazing that you can still find those little silver linings in such a challenging journey.
I think you have to. Otherwise, it can be a very depressing
Yeah.
time. You have to find the silver lining in stuff. And there are, when you look for them, there are loads of
Yeah,
them.
of course.
She's beautiful. We're so lucky, and crazy wild hair that she's known for, and her little oh, that's her New Year's resolution, is to tame her hair because it's just
No, don't
wild.
tame it, leave it, let it go wild. I know she's got so much
She's
hair as
just
well, hasn't she?
honestly.
Loads of hair.
Well, Amelia was such a photogenic person, and when she had her peg, Avie come back with her head shaved because they had to cannulate her head.
Oh gosh.
So honestly, they proper botched it. She come back, and Tom's a barber, and he was like, "What on earth? Like, just take it all off."
Yeah.
Because she, on her whiteboard, she was known as the hedgehog in NICU because her hair was just always so long, and she always looked windswept. Amelia has all these beautiful pictures of when she was a baby, and I was looking through Avie's because she's going to be 1 in March, and I was like, we do this like thing where I put this collage together, and she just looks hungover in all her pictures, or like she just looks like she's been on a really heavy night out.
Those are the ones that you need to bring out when she's 18. These are going to be the pictures.
Oh, they will be for sure. We've got some cracking pictures, yeah. Absolutely. She's amazing, and again, like I said, finding the silver lining in stuff. We have, which is insane amount, we have 29 different professionals involved in Avie's care. So I have on average like 8 appointments a week. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more.
Don't have to go up to London for each one of these.
No, luckily, a lot of them have now been transferred to Harlow.
Right.
And we have a community nurse. So a lot of the time, so like bloods can now be done at home. Training can be done like on Zoom or at the training centre around the corner. Like her therapy, people come to our house now that she's stable.
Yeah.
People can come to our house. So it is a lot easier, and it's very tough because, it's draining on all of us. But actually, like I said, finding that positive, we get a lot of help. And I'm very, very lucky in that respect that, she has something called a pink passport. So when she's poorly, I can go into A&E and I give them Avie's pink passport, and the paediatric see her within 20 minutes because, Avie can deteriorate extremely quickly, and she has done many times before. So she has to be seen that quick. But a lot of parents don't get that, and I know with Amelia, you wait hours and hours and hours to see someone, and they send you off with antibiotics, and you don't get what you want. And having 2 children, one that is really frustrating when she's unwell, and one that when she's unwell, it's almost like we've got VIP. Like, we're really lucky, and I definitely don't take that for granted at all. In fact, some of my nurses probably like, "Oh my God, Emma Tanfield's ringing again."
We're busy.
Quickly, just put her on voicemail.
But you have to, don't you? They're your children. You need to be able to make sure that that you're doing everything that you need to be doing and that you can. How confident do you feel now? Like, you're a pro now. She's nearly a year. Like, you're a total pro now in her care. Like, do you feel confident in yourself now, or do you still feel that kind of?
Do you know what? I do. I
Mhm.
mean, I've always had an interest in this anyway, and I find stuff like this so interesting. I am that parent, you know, that any opportunity I get, like one of her things, we went out and she pulled, I mean, you know, it's just her all over, but she pulled her peg out, and you have to go in within an hour, otherwise the hole closes. And they was like, oh, you know, they do it bedside, and they're like, you might want to walk away. I was like, you joking? Can I get my phone out and film it? Like, I love it. Like, I'm more than happy. So I remember one doctor was like, oh, if you want to get a pair of gloves on, like I can show you what you're doing. And I was like, yes, in my element. Because Tom's like gagging in the corner because that's not a bit of him at all. But no, I love
Yeah,
it. So it
yeah,
helps that I find it interesting. I'm always willing to help. It's tough because when you were saying earlier about an identity, like have you got a new one, or have you lost one? And I wouldn't change anything to be a mum. Like I think
yeah.
you gain a new identity becoming a mum anyway. But with Avie, I feel like I've gone back to uni. Like I feel like I've done another degree because
Sounds like it.
I've got this whole new thing. Like we had to have 3 different exams before she come home. I say exams, they're called competencies, but you have to get, you know, tested on it. And
Oh, yeah, exams.
yeah,
Yeah,
you have to do your research, and you have to have physical, show them that you can do it, what it means, what to do.
demonstrations.
Yeah, they get dummies out. Some of them we had to do on 8. Poor Avie was just laying in her cot while we were like, you know, working on her. But, you know, we do. And actually, I think basic life support should be for everyone before they bring a baby home,
Yeah.
because it's so
Mm.
important, and it's things that a lot of people don't actually know. But no, I've definitely gained more confidence from Avie, and it hasn't phased me at all. I thought it would. It hasn't. You know, all my
I was
friends.
gonna say, are you surprised? Did you expect to take to it the way that you have?
Yes and no. No, because it was very, very daunting the first time, and you
Mm.
know, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Some bits aren't pleasant, and some bits aren't. You find yourself, you never expect to be that parent, especially if it's not in your
Yeah.
family. And we've always been an accepting family, and you know, it's not that I judge other people, because absolutely not. It's the complete opposite to me. But I've never been around it. I don't have any friends or family that have any disabilities, or you know, other than my cousin who has cerebral palsy, but he's just amazing. So to have Avie was a bit like, oh my god, what are we going to do? Are we going to cope? Are people going to look at us? But actually, it's not like that at all. Like we went on holiday with our best friends, and they were laughing. And the first night, I had Avie plugged in up to her SATS monitor that was underneath the buggy. I had the oxygen canister on my back, and she had her oxygen on. She had her pump going, the suctioning machine to get all of her stuff out. And
Wow.
it was just second nature. It's just like, you know,
Yeah.
we've had to get all this different equipment and all the space for the equipment. And she has a hospital cot, which Amelia loves, because she can sit in a cot and push the buttons, and the head rises and it goes up and down. And it's like a little, I probably shouldn't let her play in it actually. But no, it's really, I thought I'd struggle, and I haven't with certain things. I find it quite easy almost, because you have to do it. So you just crack on.
Mm.
But it is, you sort of lose it a little bit, because I can't go back to work at the moment. There's just no way I'd be able to work at the moment. And work was my break.
Yeah.
Like work was my respite. I loved going to work and socialising with other people and having different chat and getting out of the house. And now it's a bit like
Yeah.
Groundhog
Yeah.
Day now. And you know, she can't go to a nursery yet. She probably won't be able to go to a nursery until preschool age, just because the training and everything that comes with her, unless it's a special nursery, which is impossible to get into.
Yeah.
So that's hard. I feel like I've lost my identity a bit, because I don't have that side to me anymore, and I wasn't expecting that.
Mhm.
I was fully
Yeah.
expecting to go back to work and, you know, do what I love doing.
I think it's really important to talk about it as well, because so many people are worried about admitting that they enjoyed that aspect of having a break and going back to
Yeah.
their job. Some people, you know, want to go back to work fairly soon. Some people want to stay at home. You know, it's a different preference for everybody. But because of the kind of general narrative around, you know, mothers should be at home with their children and things like this, it's not spoken about enough, of that kind of feeling of a loss of identity when you can't go back to what it is that you love doing and
Yeah.
that you enjoy doing, and that's part of your identity. So I think it is really important to normalize that feeling of loss when you can't go back to those things.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And you know, work's such a big part of your life. Like, and
Yeah.
I have got a newfound respect for stay-at-home mums. Like those that stay at home with their children, one, have the patience of a saint, two, like cleaning. You sort of had an excuse. I mean, it's strange, isn't it? Because obviously parenting is a full-time job, but when you're at home every day, I feel bad for not having a clean house for when Tom gets home. And it's like, well, I've been at home
Oh,
all day. So, and he's like, well, yeah, but you've not been doing nothing. Like,
yeah,
because
exactly.
you're at home all day, every day, you expect that, in your head, you're like, well, I'll get the washing done, I'll have dinner started. And
Yeah,
it doesn't go like that at all. You are at
no,
work, you're just not getting paid for it. It's hard.
exactly.
Like, people are incredible that stay at home and look after their kids. Like, hats off to you, because as soon as she's in Skogs, I'm off.
I'm out on the town.
No, it's tough.
I saw that you had a visit to a hospice, was it recently? Is she going to
Yeah.
go in and
Yes,
spend
so
some
she's
time?
actually got her first break on Thursday. So yeah, no, she goes to Haven House in Woodford.
Oh, bless her.
And oh, honestly, I wanna sign in. They're amazing. She gets like a massage, she gets a special bath, she has like these little
Nice.
parties. It's incredible. It's so lovely. And she always comes, so she's had a few tasters like sessions, and she has like her music therapy, she does baby yoga. Oh my god, it's like a holiday.
Oh,
But she loves it, and she's got her first night like without me and Tom on Thursday.
right.
So that will be interesting.
How are you feeling about that?
I feel really bad that I'm looking forward to it. Um, I d-
Don't feel bad.
it will be strange. I mean, we have nurses 5 nights a week anyway, and I think that's why I'm okay, because for me, that was strange. I didn't like having people in our house while we were sleeping. And
Oh, okay.
I almost took offence to it, which is ridiculous, and I shouldn't have now doing it. If anybody does have nurses, like, it's absolutely fine. But I was almost like, what do you mean? Like, I can take care of my own baby. Like, I've not had her
Yeah, yeah.
home for so long. I want to do this on my own. I don't want any help. But yeah, after a week or two and the reality setting in of, this isn't a normal baby.
Yeah.
You take all the help you can get. It is very tough. And like I said earlier, sleep is such an important part. And people that work on
Mm.
like 3-4 hours sleep, it's just not healthy. So we're very lucky that we get help. And for her to go away, and I know that she's safe, and then we get updates, and I know that actually she's having a much better time than she would just being at home with me again. It's actually quite nice knowing that we're going to get a full night's sleep. Avi's off doing her own thing. She's loving it. Amelia is going to go to my mum and dad's, and we're going to get a night to go out for dinner and be Em and Tom again.
Oh,
So
nice.
it will
Yeah.
be really nice, but I would be lying if I said it isn't a bit daunting, because it is.
Mhm.
But no, I am looking forward to it.
It sounds like such a concoction of different emotions daily that you have to endure, with all of these roller coasters of positive things and then really challenging things, and then the guilt that comes along with feeling some of these things.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it must be such a roller coaster for both you and Tom.
And it's like an admin job in one. Like, I have to, be on top of her appointments and her medicine. And when it's running low, I have to reorder that. And, you go to appointments and you have to explain, because nobody knows what it is. Unless you're going to, like,
Yeah,
she's under 4 different hospitals, and there's only one hospital, which is Gosh, and they know what charge is. And I mean, don't
right.
be wrong, the nurses at the other hospital that didn't know what it was, they're fantastic, because they've looked it up and they've done all their research, and they don't rely on you, but you almost have to explain over and over and
Yeah,
over. And it's not a quick, 2-minute catch up. It's like,
yeah, it's complex.
oh no, and because they're all so different, so many children. The only very similar aspect that they all have, which I got told a lot when she was a baby, and it is so true, is their determination and strong character.
Really.
Like, they are the most incredible humans. With
Oh,
children with charge, they're like, they all just prove people wrong, and they're so strong. And I got told that. And when she got diagnosed, all my friends, my family were all Googling. You know what they do? Like, they look into
yeah.
what it is, and they want to be on the same page. And every single one of them were like, I have heard though, Em, that they prove people wrong, and they're very determined. And oh my god, she is a sasspot. Like, she's got such an amazing character already, and a bit nervous actually, because I think we're going to clash. we're gonna clash when she's older because she's very strong-willed. Yeah,
So she doesn't
massively.
get that from you then? Is that a Tom thing?
No, no, I'm perfect. No, I don't do stuff like that. No, that is all me. That's the problem. It is all me. So I'm so laid back. It's all me. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. I mean, what's it like having to juggle your time to make sure that Amelia is okay and that she's feeling included in everything? I mean, I imagine that that must be a juggle at some point when you have to give so much of your time and attention to attend to Avi's very particular needs. Do you find it difficult to juggle
Yeah.
between making sure that, because I mean, I suppose this sounds like such a challenging situation for somebody who has one child that has complex needs, but when you have another child, you know, two, three, four children, you know, that
Yeah.
that then becomes you having to juggle between things.
Do you know what? I tried explaining it, and I don't think it's not like easier. It wouldn't be easier if Amelia wasn't here because the journey would still be the same. It would just be a lot easier to
Yeah.
juggle because having meals, you just have that constant guilt that, and I assume that when you have a second child, unfortunately, they take more priority in certain things anyway. So your attention's more on them for some things than it was before on your
Mm,
first child. But with Avie, I found, and again, it's everyone's different, and there's no right answer. But for me, I found it easier including Amelia in everything,
yeah.
and I think it's worked well because she's very she's very interested, and she
Okay.
comes and she wants to join in and she's learning. But I almost regret it a little bit as well because it's made her grow up overnight, and
Yeah.
her whole role play is based around hospitals and blood tests, and she rings the ward and says, "Can I talk to the baby in cot 16?" And her friends don't know what she's
Yeah.
talking about, and she goes through, like, when I was in London, everything was on the train. We had to go to the train to get on the lift to then go up to the, like, floor 8, and everything was like copying.
Yeah.
But she's learning her numbers at the moment, and even something silly like I let her draw the flushes up, which is just water. And I said, right, we need it to number 7 today. She draws it up, and she even, like, looks at it and she went, I just got to get the air bubble out.
Oh,
And she gets the air bubbles and then puts it up to number 7. And she helps me flush it, and she screws it in and she pushes it really gently. And
wow.
we went to the doctors, and she tells the doctors my sister's got a peg, which means she's fed through her tummy, and she's
It's the
just,
nurse in the making.
she really is. And nothing phases her now. She's there. So when Avie has her blood test, because they're all at home now, I let her watch if she
Okay.
wants to watch.
Yeah.
So she watches her have a blood test, and at first she was like, "What on earth?" What? Because obviously Avie screams the house down, and she's like, "Is she okay?" But she's now there with the nurse. She gets her gloves on and she dabs it with the pad, and she puts her plaster on for her, and she's, "Okay, Avie, it's gonna be okay."
Oh,
And she's just,
yeah.
she's so involved, and that for me has
Yeah.
helped. Like, that's what's worked well for us, is because Amelia isn't kept out of anything. She's included in it all, and she understands that Avie needs a little bit more attention than she does.
Yeah.
She puts her SATS probe on for her in the night and waits for the light to come on. The only thing she doesn't do, she's not allowed to touch her pump, and she knows that, because the last thing I need her doing is changing settings on her feeding pump, and Avie's getting double what she should be getting. And but no, that's
Yeah.
how we've coped with it, and that seems to have worked for us. But, I don't know, that I just hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the long run, but for now it's working.
Well, I guess in a way, for her at her age, it's almost a way for you to remove that scary part of it. Because I guess
Yeah.
if you'd have blocked her off from it, and for instance, if she had to wait outside while Avie had her blood test, you could hear her screaming. She won't know what's going on.
Yeah.
She won't
Yeah.
have the reassurance to say, actually, no, she's fine. And so by involving her, she's almost being faced with the fears and the
Absolutely.
scary stuff that's happening, but you're able to coach her through it and talk to her through it.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, for me personally, I think that's a brilliant way to keep her really involved, but to give her that support and reassurance as it's happening, so that it's not
Yeah.
traumatic.
And I think it gives her, like, the role of a big sister, because she was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
excited to do, she wanted to feed Avie a bottle, and we've never been able to do
yeah,
that. And it gives her that, oh no, I am the big sister and I am allowed to do these things because I'm older. And it gives her that role of,
Yeah.
no, this is what I was, because she wasn't allowed to see her for so long and she wasn't involved in so much of her life that, even like the nurses, we have to go for like an interview stage when we get a new nurse. And I want Amelia to be there, and because she is part of our unit, and they need to click with Amelia as much as they need to click with Avie. It's not just, I know they're there for Avie, but she's just as much of a family member as Avie is. So actually, she
Yeah.
needs to be included in all of this stuff. And I speak to other parents, and they completely disagree with that, and they don't want their children being on anything, and that's absolutely fine. That works for them. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. But for us, it just works well where Mills is involved in all of Avie's care, and she's fantastic at it. She's such an affectionate little girl, and yeah, I want her to know that there are differences and they're all fine. It's absolutely fine to be different. It's what makes us who we are, and I want her
Yeah,
to look out for
exactly.
Avie.
It's a good way for them to bond and get that sibling relationship when they've had that kind
Yeah.
of difficult start, like you say, when she's not been able to see her at the beginning. So that kind of initial bonding period, they've not been
Yeah,
able to do. So I guess this is
definitely.
another way to enable that they get that time to bond and be sisters.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, yeah, I mean, Avie's not a normal baby. She's very, very delayed. And, she's nearly a year and she's on like the 2-3 month mark of what she's doing. And,
Hmm.
that's strange for Mills. Mills is getting impatient. She's, her friends' babies, brothers and sisters, they're laughing with her and they're sitting up and they're
Yeah,
playing and she can tickle them and they laugh. And Avie has none of that. And she's just like,
yeah.
oh, is this all she does? Is she not meant to do more than this? So it's good, we try and be as open as we can without going into too much detail because she don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want her to be proud of her. So
Yeah. Well, she's also had her own little medical journey as well, hasn't she? 'Cause she's got hearing aids
she
now.
has,
Yeah. So can you tell
yeah,
us a bit about that?
yeah, Amelia. Do you know what? It's actually very, very interesting because when she was a baby, she used to have a shake in her hand,
Okay.
and I was worried about it. And I took her to the doctors, and they was like, "No, she's fine, she's fine, she's fine." Until eventually she started fitting. She had seizures,
Oh.
and she had a weakness down one side, and that's what was causing the shaking. She fell over a lot. She had very weak legs, and she was absolutely fine. It was just this weakness that was causing these issues, and her seizures are like she's almost growing out of them. And we've recently discovered she needs a hearing aid. I feel awful because I've been like, Amelia, I can't hear you, or I'm repeating myself. I'm like, will you listen? Turns
Yeah.
out she actually can't hear it. So we took her to the doctors because I was worried about her hearing, and turns out she does have a hearing loss,
Right.
quite a severe one in her right ear. So she's got a hearing aid now, just the battery ones.
Mhm.
And she, again, I think it's quite nice because Avie won't keep hers on. So I've said to her, well, it's good that you've got one because now you're her big sister. You can show her it's important to wear it and it helps. And that's made her be like, oh, yeah, actually, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll show her what to do, mummy. And she keeps hers in. So she's been amazing. But all of the things that Amelia, and she had, so she's had little stents put up her nose because she got blocked tear ducts quite often.
Okay.
So she's had her little like procedures done.
Hmm.
And now we're looking into Avie. The gene that's missing from Avie is all the same things as what Amelia had. So Amelia's now going to Great Ormond Street for a genetics testing because they think she's missing the same gene but on a much, much milder,
Wow.
like, yeah. So it's really interesting. It's like it's all adding up,
Yeah.
and she's got speech delay, which obviously is down to her hearing.
Right.
But again, it could be related to this. So yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. The more you piece bits together of this little puzzle, the more things are making sense.
Isn't it funny as well? Like it's almost like I don't know how to explain it. Like back to front in the thinking that obviously you had Amelia first, and these things weren't apparent to you. There were just a couple of things that you'd noticed, but they, just they were what they were. And then you've had Avie, and you've become aware of charge syndrome and things like that. And now it's maybe answering some questions from Amelia's point of view. So it's crazy that it's kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
flipped itself round and almost answered questions afterwards. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and if we didn't have Avie, I mean, Amelia's fine. It's so mild that she's going to go through life and be fine. And
Yeah,
if we didn't have Avie, we probably would have never even suggested or looked into anything like this. But because we have Avie, and our chances increase every time. Now we've got a child with charge. I mean, if Avie ever decided to have children, or if she was ever capable of having children,
yeah,
her chances of having a child with charge are 50%. Hers are so high. And now we've got Avie, ours goes up. So I think ours is something like a 10% chance or something now.
yeah,
But if we had another
yeah.
baby, I mean, we'll get tested now, so it'll be a bit different. But, I'm intrigued to find out, because this genetics testing for meals is quite in depth. And some part of me is like, well, I didn't know before, I don't need to know now. And then there's another part of me that thinks, actually, if Amelia wants to start a family one day,
Yeah,
I want her to have all her information in front of her,
yeah,
because this isn't something I want to see Amelia go through. Because even though I love Avie and, she's one of the best things that's happened to us, I don't want to see my children going through what we've been through. I think it's important for us to get that information as well, for
mm,
Amelia's sake, because it could affect her future. But when they're
mm.
babies, you don't even think about things like that, do you? You don't think about them having kids like they're your babies.
They're going to be babies forever. What are you talking about?
Yeah, always.
We won't talk about the fact that mine's nearly an adult.
It's like, I don't know how you felt like the first time Gracie said mum. Like, she called me mum the other day. I was like, no, I'm mummy. Don't call me mum.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
allowed.
It's so strange, that transition as they grow up and they just get more and more grown up, and sometimes it happens really
Yeah,
slowly and you don't notice it, and then like you say, sometimes they'll say or they'll do just one thing and you're transported and you're like, oh,
yeah.
you're older, like you've just like grown 10 years overnight. It is crazy.
Mel said, I mean, she said it wrong. I can't even remember how she said it. It was really cute. But she said particularly the other day. It's like, where on earth have you got that word from? Like, that's a very big word. I don't like this.
Oh, bless her. No, it's a journey, isn't it, parenting? And it's really tough at
Yes.
times, and it's so important to openly talk about the tough times as well, because I think I think social media's got a lot better over the years of people being more transparent and talking about things. It's I think there's still a long way to go for people to feel almost comfortable to talk about their challenging
Absolutely.
times, but I think it is getting better. And I know that you've touched upon a couple of times on social media about PTSD. And
Yeah.
is this something that been as a result of going through all of the early challenges with Avie? Was this beforehand? What was your experience of that?
I mean, PTSD, I'm still learning quite a lot about that. And again, like, I'm extremely lucky. People want to know about child. I mean, I'm assuming people are just being nosy, but I'm more than happy with that, because the more they ask, the more I get awareness out there.
Yeah, definitely.
But people want to know about it. And when I've mentioned PTSD before, I've had quite a lot of people respond to me and say, "Oh, I hope you don't mind, but I suffer with this, and this is how I deal with it." And I am so grateful when people do that, because I have no idea. Like,
Yeah.
it's things like noises. So we was in Matalan the other day, and then one of the alarms went off, and it sounded just like her ventilator, and I hadn't heard that noise since she
Ah,
was 7 weeks old, and it automatically made me go cold and feel sick, and I've never experienced anything like that.
wow.
And I said
Yeah.
to mum, that just, or like, you look back on videos that you haven't seen in months,
Mm,
and there's all the machines and the beeps and the baby's crying, and it just brings back them sounds that you haven't heard in so long. And
yeah.
we had to go on the underground the other day, and I hadn't gone on the underground since I've been up to the hospital. And because every time we now go for appointments, I drive, because getting on a train automatically puts me in a bad mood. And it's ridiculous, but it just reminds me of all them months, because in March, it was still dark, it was freezing cold.
Yeah.
Then we went through the summer when we had that huge heat wave, so we were on the train in shorts and, sweating, and there's no aircon, and then back to October when it's back to being chilly again, and, I just don't like it, and it's things like that I think you think you're struggling when you're in it,
Yeah.
and actually I'm struggling now. Now she's home, and now we're living it, it's all these things are coming up that, we walk into a hospital, and I used to walk into hospital for appointments and not even be phased. Now I walk into a hospital and there's certain smells that trigger you off and you make you anxious. And I think,
Yeah.
what's going on? Nothing's even happened. It's this smell of like medical or plasters or disinfectant, and
Yeah.
it takes you back. It's so strange, and I'm going through that at the moment. And grief is, oh my God, like I've experienced grief about losing someone before, like my granddad died and that was horrible, and
Yeah.
we've had sad things happen, but losing something is completely new to me. And it started off like, I wasn't ready to not be pregnant anymore, and I grieved my pregnancy massively.
Really?
I grieved the fact that, I didn't get a baby shower, like something really silly like that. It's not until you start. My best friend's just had hers, and it was beautiful, and I'm so happy for her. She's going to be the best mum. But things like that are hard.
Yeah.
Like the first ones after, you think, oh, I was really looking forward to that this time, especially because I didn't really enjoy my pregnancy with Amelia. I
Yeah.
was really looking forward to going on maternity leave and washing the baby clothes and getting excited and being on countdown and prepping my hospital bag, and I was excited to do all that, and that got ripped away.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't allowed to hold her, and this sounds really weird, I'm not a weirdo, but that baby smell,
No.
and you
Yeah.
smell newborn babies, I never got to do that. Like she just smelled of hospital, and like what I would do to feed her a bottle or
Yeah.
weaning. I used to complain all the time about the mess meals made. But oh my God, to give Avie a bit of food and just watch her reaction, or like, like her exploring with it, I can't do that. And that's I really, really miss that. And that's what I'm struggling with massively at the moment is, I guess, grief. And
Yeah.
it's a different type of grief that I've not experienced before.
You don't even think of, I mean, I know that I didn't even consider that element of it, and kind of missing those, I say normal in inverted commas, things that you do as a parent with a newborn. And I mean, I started to look at the word grief in different ways recently anyway, and I was speaking to a lady who has also done an episode with us on attachment, and we were talking about attachment theory and the different kind of elements of that. And I said to her, I remember when Gracie was younger, she had a really strong friendship group, and the friendship group broke apart, and she grieved the friends that she'd lost.
Yeah.
And I didn't,
Yeah.
at the time, I remember sitting with her and I remember thinking, why is she behaving this way? Like she's almost going through the grief cycle, and I could pinpoint all of the different stages. And I remember thinking, like, don't be so stupid. And I Googled it, and it came up and it said, you can grieve losing a friendship. Grief is just the loss of something. And I was like, I'd always just thought, likened grief to, losing someone dying. And it just opened up my awareness that actually there are so many different ways that you can grieve something. And I said this to this woman because she's a doctor of education, and she specializes in attachment. So I was talking to her about it, and she was like, absolutely, it's they're grieving a loss, some sort of loss. And obviously you saying this, like, it just makes sense that you would go through that grief cycle for losing something or not having it.
Yeah, and like like you just said about attachment, like Avie is so used to having so many different faces, and for the first 7 months, she didn't have cuddles. She had all these machines that when we were allowed to cuddle her, which wasn't often, we had to hold her in a particular way to suit her machine she was on.
Right.
And it wasn't until she was probably about 6 months old that I could pick her up as a baby and put her on my shoulder. And I mean, I never, again, like, this is what I mean about finding the good things. Where she's peg fed, I don't have to sterilise anything. Everything comes to me, and I just take it out of its sterile packing and put it in. Like, I would have a huge shock to me if I had another baby and I'm having to wash all these bottles, because I haven't had to do that. But, so it's almost like I've never had to burp her, but putting her in that burping position and just cuddling her, like, I took that for granted massively. But because Avie never had that, she's not a cuddly baby.
Right.
And she's not a like, she's starting to get a bit more smiley now, which is really nice. because you almost feel like you've got a baby. Like, she's starting to have her little half smile. Like, it is very cute. But she hasn't got any attachment with anyone because she's always had a different nurse on shift. She's always had to just lay, you know, on her back, and she had no stimulation for ages. That was one of my biggest things, and why to this day I believe she's so delayed, because she got no stimulation in hospital at all. And, you know, I'm grieving the fact that my baby has no, oh mummy, you know, when they get excited to see you and you pick them
Yeah.
up and they she doesn't have that. She doesn't have that loving, you know. I hope it grows and she gets that, but I miss that so much. All these videos that I have on my phone of, you know, me, especially nearly one, and she'd stand up in her cot and she'd be so excited, or her legs would go, and, you know, she'd get that beaming baby smile on her face whenever she sees you at like 4 months old.
Yeah.
And Avi's nearly a year, and she's just like, all right. Oh, it's you again. Like, she's not got that. She's completely detached from that. So I mean, you know, we're going through lots of different things, and we're learning even her hair. And I joke about her hair, but trying to brush a baby's hair that can't lift their head, oh my God, like, I took that for granted. Mills would just sit there and I'd be able to put her hair up. Avie, it's like a good half-hour job trying to even brush it, because then she flops back, and
Just leave it. Just let it go wild. It's meant to be wild.
Yeah, just leave it as the main it is.
I bet Tom's itching. He's like, come on, let me do something with the hair.
Oh, honestly, he's like, I'll just get the clippers on it. I'll just fade it in. It will look okay. But no, she's definitely, she's one. But then, do you know what? She's, like you said earlier, that's exactly what we call her. She's our warrior. Like, she showed us strength I didn't even know existed, and she's taught us so much in these last 11 months. Like, she's taught us more than I ever imagined I'd learn from a baby.
Yeah.
But Amelia is our hero, and I hope she knows that, and I hope she grows up and she knows how much, like, she's helped us. Like, this whole, it would be so much easier for me if we didn't have another baby, because we could solely focus on Avie. But at the same time, Amelia is the reason that we went home every night, and we were still, you know, smiling, and we were still excited we was almost excited to leave the hospital, because we knew we was going home to Mills.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I think for first-time parents, leaving must just be, you're going home to nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas we were going home and we were distracted. We were preoccupied with having to put dinner on, and, you know, Amelia still needed bathing and dropping off, and
life just carried on.
Activities, and yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I hope Amelia never, like, you know, forgets. Avie is always getting the praise, and oh, she's so strong, and she's such a fighter, and which she is, and I'm never going to take that away from her. But Amelia is like the little superhero in the background that is our little hero that keeps us going.
Absolutely.
She's amazing. They both are.
You're going to have your hands full.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
If you've got a couple of strong girls there, you clearly only have strong women.
Oh, that's it. We'll bring them up to be. I know. Bless him.
You've got a dog as well, haven't you? Is she female?
She is, yeah. Pippin, she's our third child. She is our little fur baby. She doesn't get left out. She's just as important. But yeah, no, Tom's the biggest woman of us all. We're joking. Bless him.
Oh, it sounds like you've got such a good dynamic going on, and you are an incredible team. The pair of you, or all four of you, are an incredible team. I just want to, before we finish, I just want to touch on the amazing charity work that you do, because you always seem to be trying to raise money for the Charge Foundation, also for Mind, which makes sense that it's an incredibly important charity, you know, for people that are going through challenging times. And obviously we've touched upon mental health and that in this discussion as well. So it's great that you raise money for them as well. So can you just tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're doing for raising money and how people can get involved, and if you've got anything coming up that you want to shout about?
Yeah, no, I've always been a bit of a big advocate for mental health. I've got bipolar, which a lot of people don't know, and me and Tom definitely have our own struggles. So for me, I feel like I have to get out there that it's okay not to be okay, because so many people feel like, you know, I know I did. I felt guilty for moaning when I do have a very amazing support network with my friends and family. I had a job, I was earning money, you know, we were going on holidays, we were doing all this stuff, and I thought, why am I feeling low? That I don't have the right to feel low when there's people out there that, you know, are genuinely struggling with day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And it took me ages to understand it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. And the amount of people I talk to that don't get it because they feel guilty, and I just want people to know you don't have to. Like, it's a normal thing, and don't suffer in silence. Talk. I'm always willing. I mean, I'll take 4 to 5 working weeks to reply, but I will always be willing to talk to you and always be willing to listen and help in any way I can.
Yeah.
So mental health for me, I love talking about, and I'm always supportive of it. And then obviously charge it's more about spreading awareness of charge, because so many people don't know about it.
Yeah.
And there's so many genetics disorders out there. It's opened my eyes, and people do want to learn about it and people don't, and that's fine. I think for me, I'm petrified that she is quite clearly different, and children can be so mean.
Yeah.
And I'm so nervous that, I think every parent is in some way, but I'm so nervous about bullying or her being left out, or for me now, I feel like I have this mission that I want people to understand that actually children are different in every way. And that's brilliant. And we should highlight their differences and support them. And yeah, so my little charity events are now all based around that. It's more uplifting than that. It is fun night. It's not all doom and gloom. But we're doing really well with them, and I really, really want to do a ball,
Okay.
like a 3-course sit down meal with a band, and I want it to be a proper thing. I call us the tornado team, because if I've not got like 20 things on my brain at one go, then it's
I'm the
quiet.
same.
Like, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to be on the go 100 miles an hour all the time.
Do you find that because I find with me, I'm so much more productive the more I have on. If I've just got like
Yeah,
1 or 2 things on, then I procrastinate and I kind of mooch along and don't really do it.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
if I've got 50 things going, I'm like, right, here, 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 and I work so much
Yeah,
better.
yeah, and you get things done.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, I'm exactly the same. So I'm already thinking about where I can go and what I can do. And I mean, if it's not this year, hopefully it'll be next year. I really want to put on a charge fest in the summer and have a
Okay.
little festival. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if people want to buy tickets, then you're more welcome to come. If not, just sharing stuff just makes all the difference when people just share it or like
Mhm.
something. Or I'm gonna open up a Instagram page for AV, because
Okay.
my account's private on Instagram, and I've just been too nervous to. I've had it on there for so long. It's called Not Your Average AV. So it's been on there for ages and ages, since July last year, and I've just been too nervous, because I get so nervous that people are gonna, like weirdos are looking on there, and
Yeah.
I just don't like it. And then I thought, do you know what? It's the only way I'm going to be able to spread more awareness. So that will be coming out. So anyone, and that won't be private. So anyone
Okay.
can look at it, and all the charity event and details and stuff will all be on that page. So
Okay.
yeah, people just sharing and liking would be amazing.
If you let us know when it's live, then we can definitely share it around and hopefully get more
Thank
more
you.
information. And when this episode goes live as well, then that'll be another good way to share around as much as we can and raise some awareness
Yeah,
and some knowledge around all of this for you.
no, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Not at all. Brilliant. So, just to finish up, because Recap's all about embracing everyone and making everyone feel at home and part of a supportive community, I ask all guests to have a think of one piece of advice or an empowering message to give to the listeners to help share that love and support. So, if you could say just one thing to help even just one person, what is it that you would like to say?
I would probably say, try not to compare yourself to other people, on both parenting and children.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, I think social media is brilliant, but I think it's also so bad, because you can look on and, people are painting or cooking, or they've taken them out in the fresh air, and you think, oh my God, I'm still in my pajamas. My kids have just about eaten breakfast. I'm not doing that well. And the reality of it is, you're doing amazing. Like, if you've got out of bed, that's the first step to. I think people underestimate how hard that can be sometimes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think I mentioned it earlier, as long as they're fed and they're loved and they're happy and they're clean, you're winning. Parenting's, there's no rule book, and it can be really tough sometimes to compare, or comparing children, and I found myself doing it so much with Avi, and I get so annoyed with myself. But you find yourself thinking, oh, they're crawling. Mine's not doing it yet.
Yeah.
Or, oh my God, they're speaking so much. Mine's not even said 2 words yet. Like, are they behind? And you end up panicking because you think you're doing something wrong. And every child's different. Every parent's different. And as long as they're safe, then I just try not to compare, because I guarantee you're doing a great job, because it's bloody hard.
It's bloody hard. Perfect way to round that up. It is bloody hard in all aspects for people who have 1 child, 10 children, dogs. They're equally as hard to parent. It is really hard, but I think the key is to be honest and to talk about things. And like you say, comparison is the thief of all joy, isn't it? So let's just not. Oh, well, Emma, you've been amazing, and thank you so much for sharing Avi's story, Amelia's story, and the story of your family and the journey that has got you to where you are now. And I am so looking forward.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Not at all. I'm so looking forward to following Avi and Amelia and their journeys going forward, and the amazing things that I am sure they will get up to when they get older.
Oh yeah, the adventures of them, they'll be great.
And you'll be pulling your hair out.
I definitely will. Oh yes.
It's all right. You're married to a barber. It's fine.
Yeah, he can sort it. That's why I did it, really. I knew. See, I planned ahead. No, it's been so much fun. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I'll make sure to share some information under the episode as well, so that people know where to go to find out more as well.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. Thanks a lot, Emma. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.